Welcome to book B, lesson number 9. Today we're doing fourths. This week we're working on fourths. We've done seconds and thirds, and now we're on fourths. Think of the fourth finger plays the fourth. It's the fourth degree in any scale you have. So it's the fourth one up. So we're going to be playing melodic and we're going to be playing harmonic intervals. So here's how the first one goes. You might have your student notice that it's line to space now, space to line, one of each. It's not two like line or space. It's actually one of each, one line and one space per interval. So that's how we recognize a fourth. It's also when they're on top of each other in a harmonic interval as a chord, the note heads are not touching. They were side by side in a second, diagonally, and when they're thirds, they're touching. They're right on top of each other. But in fourths, there's actually a little bit of space between these two note heads, so we'll be looking at that too. So here's how this one goes. This line and this line are just the same. It's not legato in the beginning because we have repeated, and we don't do this legato. And then we have legato here at the very end and hold it down. 4 times, so we're back to counting to 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. 2, 3, 4, lift. All right, so what is legato anyway? Really what legato is that differentiates that from staccato. This is staccato. Legato, it sounds this way because there is no dead silence between the notes. We play a note and we don't play the next one and release the other one until we've got those two so close together in time that you cannot hear the silence. Obviously, when you're playing repetitive notes, we can hear silence between them, and an advanced pianist can take that timing out. Our students cannot. They're just going to play them. We need to make sure they don't play them like this, but they need to be as close to legato as we can have them sound. All right, and still stay in time. So then, when we have slurs like this and we're playing legato, the way that we make this sound like legato is not just to take out the space that's in the middle, but also at the very end, we're going to play the second note slightly lighter. It's going to be slightly lighter because our wrist is coming up. That's how we actually do that. But dynamically, we want to do that so that it sounds a little bit lighter, and it's going to be played just a fraction shorter than the other notes. And that helps us to get that legato sound. We don't want to notice that it's shorter. We want to notice that it's slightly lighter. And if you think about the pictures, this is right in the middle here. I would think in a song, this is the part where they're spinning around. So listen to it and see if you can hear why we would want a slur right there. There's a repeat, so you want to jump right back in on the beat there. So remember that if they're having trouble with hitting this note on time, remember that their hand's not going up. Their hand is going this way. That keeps the fingers closer to the keys. So do the bounce roll to the fall board, not up. So they don't want it to be like this. You want it to actually be this way so they don't get too far away, because that would be crazy if we were doing that when we were playing something really advanced. All right, twirlers. This is what you want to start with. Twirlers for some is very easy, and for others it's really tricky. The slurs come at the end of the repeated measures. You'll notice the pattern here. It's the same, then it moves up a note, follow the fingering, then fingering for the new note as it comes in. These are the little phrases. There's no space in between. I had just talked about how there's a fraction of silence between things that are slurred. This is true, but our goal is to not have too much. Our students are going to have way too much silence between these two. They're going to want to do this. And we don't want that. We want this. The metronome going. Keep it nice and slow so they have time to move the wrist. We're practicing getting this motion going. Start in on the left hand, and it's the same thing. We want to make sure that when they come up, they don't come too far and that they're able to come right back down. But it's repeated measures here until the end. And instead of going down or going up, and obviously that's going way too fast. You don't want them to do that. It gives you an idea of how it's supposed to sound. All right, so that's the technique book. And now for the homework. This is just drawing in. You can follow directions here. Our eyes are supposed to be noticing it's line to space or space to line. There's a little bit of space between the note heads when we're actually drawing the intervals. And here they are too. Kids are very good at seeing these patterns and seeing these things as just shapes. I think as adults we look at this and we're overwhelmed. We don't want to do that. We want to let the kids use their eyes to see the patterns. They do a lot of this in preschool to wire their brains up to see patterns and shapes and similarities. And so I think that they don't get quite as overwhelmed when they're like, what's the difference between these? They can just see it. And so we need to just kind of let them relax into just assuming that they can do it. I tend to pretend like I can't see things and I don't have my glasses and, oh, help me see that. Is that line to line or is that space to space? They correct me and then they answer my questions and show me how smart they are. And I like to do that just to make sure that I know that they're focusing on what I want them to actually notice. Okay, so this should be a fun one just to color and check and see if we get it right. All right, have a good week.